to bring to life some of those little-known or forgotten stories. Pranks pulled by NASA astronauts and engineers, superstitions that mission controllers bring to their consoles to guarantee a successful mission, product marketing in space, including the space pins from the Mir space station promoted on the cable shopping channel QVC. The stories go on and on. Sometimes they are funny and make you chuckle. Sometimes they are sentimental and bring warmth to your heart. Other times they are tragic and bring a tear to your eye. Now, some of you may recognize a story or two in this audiobook. I think you will find that even those tales have some fascinating and surprising twists and turns. I was surprised by some of the stories I thought I knew. Writing Space Oddities was a true labor of love, and I hope my offerings keep you enthralled, as I was, doing the research and writing for this book. Thank you for joining me on this ride. It's time to tell a story. Chapter 1. The rocket worked perfectly except for landing on the wrong planet. As you would expect, the early days of rocketry and spaceflight were fraught with setbacks, disappointments, and fatalities. Although there are many accounts of rocket-like devices being built throughout ancient history, mostly by accident, it is safe to say that the Chinese were the first to put gunpowder to use as an early form of rocket propellant. The first documented rocket is believed to have been the Chinese fire arrow, which was basically a bamboo tube loaded with a mixture of saltpeter, charcoal, and sulfur that was then attached to an arrow. The archer placed the arrow on his bow, lit the mixture, and let it fly in the hopes of vanquishing his rivals during battle. The first recorded use of the fire arrow was found in the document Wu Qing Song Yao by Tseng Kung Liang in 1050 A.D. It wasn't long after the Kung Liang document appeared that warriors realized that the bow was not needed to launch their arrows. They could simply ignite the arrow and it would fly on its own. Today we would call these bottle rockets, albeit on a much smaller scale. No matter what you call it, the first rocket was born. The innovation of fire arrows led to a legend that has withstood the test of time, and one that labeled a local Chinese government official and stargazer, Wan Hu, as the world's first astronaut. The legend of Wan Hu dates to around 1500 AD during the Ming Dynasty. Wan Hu was obsessed with the stars and dreamed of one day traveling to them. He envisioned using the fire arrow to propel himself into the heavens, but realized that a single fire arrow alone would not be able to lift a heavy man. He deduced that if he strung several fire arrows together, they just might create enough force to lift him off the ground. Wan Hu's half-baked scheme involved hauling out his ornate bamboo throne, affixing two kites to it, apparently for aerodynamic stability, and encircling the chair with 47 of the largest fire arrows he could find. Dressed in his finest imperial robes, Wan Hu sat down in the chair and ordered 47 of his servants, each armed with a flaming torch, to light the arrows. The servants stepped forward and ignited the arrows. An enormous and deafening explosion rocked the area, and a mighty cloud of smoke enveloped the launch site. When the smoke had cleared, Wan Hu and the chair were gone. Wan Hu had disappeared, leaving onlookers to believe that he actually had been hurled into space, which would have made him the world's first astronaut. That's not quite how the story really ended. In an episode of the Discovery Channel's show Mythbusters, hosts Adam Savage and Jamie Heineman recreated the Wan Hu spacecraft, with their crash test dummy Buster playing the role of Wan Hu. The nasty explosion resulted in extensive damage to Buster and what would be fatal burns for a real human. Even though the legend could be disproven easily, a crater on the far side of the moon was named in honor of this rocket daredevil in 1970. Legends aside, early visionary